Alright, I have all my model cars laid out on the table in front of me here, so I'm not going to do this in any particular order. I'm just going to kind of pick them up one by one, show them to you guys, talk about them a little bit. I'm not going to make this super long. It's not going to be a review. I just thought, since we were talking about it, I'd show off my collection. And so, yeah, here we go. We'll start off with this one, the Porsche Boxster. As you guys can probably see, there's a lot of scuffs on it. I'm one of those guys, I don't like to keep my model cars in boxes. I know for some people it might lessen the value or whatever, but I'm a car guy. I like to play with these cars. Some of these I've had since I was little. So I don't imagine a scenario where any kid, 7, 8 years old like I was when I got some of these cars, is going to just keep it in a box and keep it on a shelf somewhere and not play with it. So this thing is pretty beat up, but once again, I was young when I got it. I like to play with them. So we got the Porsche Boxster, and then we'll go with the Murcielago. Now I just got this car very recently, about 2 weeks ago. I found a guy who was selling them. He gave me a good price on this and the Gardo, which I'll show you guys in a second. But anyways, we have this 1/18 scale Lamborghini Murcielago. It has the doors that go up. It's made by Maisto, and I really like this company because it allows you to actually kind of play and touch and feel the car. As you can see, the wheels move, the steering wheel inside can move, the doors open, the trunk, the engine cover at the back here opens. You can open the front trunk. This is really fun to play with. And then also in this same set, I got this Gardo. It's a first-gen Gardo, like an 2004 to I guess 2007 roughly model. Unfortunately, it doesn't have the glass engine cover, which I would have wanted. But again, I got a good deal on these two cars together from the guy I bought them off of, so I can't really complain. And it's something that I had been looking for a while, as this is one of my dream cars. Now, hopefully one day I'll be able to attain one of these. That's kind of my personal goal, to be able to buy some kind of supercar. But anyways, moving on from there, we're going to go old school a little bit, and we're going to talk about the 1949 Ford Woody Wagon. Again, really great model. The back doesn't open, unfortunately, but you can open up the doors. The doors open, the hood opens a little bit. You can see the nice old school motor in there. And like the other models, you can turn the wheels, so it makes it really fun to play with. And we'll stay old school here for a minute. And this is a car, I don't actually know a lot about this car, but it's a BMW 502. Again, it opens up. It has a spare tire in the back, which is really cool. You can actually change it out. And if you have the right tools, you can change the actual wheels. I've never done that. I don't have the tools. I don't want to break the car. But it is kind of a fun little addition. Once again, with this one, the doors open, the hood opens, the wheels turn. And like I said, I don't really know a whole lot about this car, but again, it was a present. It's a cool model car. I've had this for a while, and I love it. I think it's really different. Compared to the BMWs we're used to today. It's very old school. I'm not sure the year. It's a 1955 BMW 502. So again, I don't have a lot of information on this car. I'm sure you can look it up, but it's a really cool model. And from there, we'll move on to one of my personal favorite cars ever, the Mercedes-Benz CLK AMG. Ever since I first saw one of these things, I think it was an old video game, Project Gotham Racing, and this was like the top tier car. This was the car that you do all the races, win all the races, collect your money, and like this is the car that you wanted to buy. And I think it's, even to this day, it's kind of an older model car, but it still stands up with kind of the best today in terms of its supercar, hypercar-ness. And this one doesn't really do as much as the rest. I can't really get them both open, but the doors open up, and it has a really awesome kind of mini gull-wing doors. But yeah, definitely CLK GTR. Great car all around, and one of my favorite models. Now, you probably notice the different models in scale. The bigger ones, like the Murcielago, are 1/18 scale. This one, and I believe the Porsche this one is a 1/26 scale, I believe. Yes, the Boxster was a 1/24 scale. So to get to the model cars, they come in all different shapes and sizes. And I think from the Mercedes CLK GTR, we'll move on to probably one of my favorite ones as a kid and even now, is the Lincoln Towncar limo. Now, you can tell I play with this one a lot. I used to have the Lincoln badge on the front here. It's now broken off. Who knows where it is? I lost it years ago. It's in the garbage somewhere. But I've pretty much beat the hell out of this car. The driver's side seat is completely off. I don't know if you guys can see it. But it's supposed to have a seat back right here, but it's just kind of flopping around in there. I left it in the car, so I guess technically it's still part of it, but it's not really attached still. And again, The trunk opens on this. You can open all the doors. And for me, this is one of my cool cars because you can sit on the floor, play with this for hours, and pretend like you're VIP, like you're important. You can play be the driver or the passenger in the back, have parties, and it's just all around fun. What do we get up to next? Let's go to one of my favorites and probably one of my more unique models, and it's this. I'm not sure what scale it is, but it's a little Corgi. I believe they are made in England. At least this one was. And before I reveal, drop me a comment. Does anybody know what car this is? It's a pretty famous movie car. It is, of course, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. Anybody who hasn't seen that movie, it's a really old movie. It's actually it's not really a car movie, but it's one of my favorite old kind of automotive movies. And I think the storyline is like a lot of us car guys. This guy had a dream. He wanted to build a really unique one-off car, something that no one had ever seen before. So he takes an old racing car from, I believe, the 1920s, 30s, and he converts it into this Chitty Chitty Bang, which is an awesome flying car, which as a concept back in that time would seem really outrageous. There's flying cars which are starting to be produced now, but back in the 1930s, 40s, something like this would have been really ingenious. And my favorite part about this, if you've seen the movie, the car flies, I just mentioned, and actually has the wings that come out, so you can actually pretend that you're flying Chitty Chitty Bang Bang around, which I just think is super cool. Being a car guy, this is one of my favorite movies probably ever. I used to just throw it on and watch it when I was bored, had nothing else to do. So there's Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. And moving on from there, another famous car, you might recognize this, is the Mr. Bean Mini. Now, again, this isn't very big. It's more of like a little super toy car. Again, this is made by Corgi. It comes from England. But my favorite detail of this, for everyone knows Mr. Bean, is it has his fancy little lock on the driver's side door. And for what it is, the Mini's not the greatest car, but for a Mr. Bean fan, this is probably one of the most iconic cars in TV and movies of all time. I think if you just say Mr. Bean, everyone either associated with being the funny guy, or in the car world, everyone knows the Mr. Bean Mini. So as soon as I found one of these, I believe this was a present, but it's probably one of my favorite ones just because of what it is. In terms of real life money, the most expensive car that I have, and it is my 124 scale Bugatti Chiron. I bought this last year at the CNE. If no one's ever been to that, I'll give it a small plug. It happens at the end of summer. It's kind of a bittersweet moment this CNE because it marks the end of the summer in Toronto and go back to school year. But in any event, they always have cool car stands, so I walked in. This wasn't expensive. I think it was $30. You get a Chiron. The detail on this is absolutely stunning. If you've ever seen one in real life, obviously that's the same thing. But if you ever have had the opportunity to see a Chiron in real life, this definitely gives you all the details and kind of, like I was saying, I'm never going to be able to afford a Chiron in my life, most likely. So being able to have one of this and touch it and feel it and be able to kind of see what it would be like, obviously on a smaller scale, is completely awesome. And then the attention to detail on this is made by Maisto, and they're probably one of my favorite companies. I have a lot of my cars are Maisto, and they're one of the big ones in the model car world in terms of making really detailed and accurate scale models of the obviously production cars. From the Chiron, let's move on to one of my other favorite cars, the Aventador. I think everyone knows the Aventador. It has a cool doors. The trunk opens up. Again, I got that to CNE. It cost me no more than like $30-40. Pretty good. Again, this is made by Maisto. The attention to detail is awesome. There's the Aventador. It has the engine louver covers and everything. And I just love this thing. Now, people might be wondering, it's an SEL 500 or S500, but it's an older one. I believe it's an early 2000s. I'm not exactly sure what year, but again, this is my grandfather gave me this car, and his dream was always to own a Mercedes-Benz. Unfortunately, just due to age and some health issues, he doesn't drive anymore, which he's super bummed out about. But his last two cars he owned were Mercedes-Benz. His entire life, he always talked about wanting to own a Mercedes, and how, like I said, with buying a Murcielago, he said he knew he'd made it if he was able to afford and drive a Mercedes. So when he was coming to the end of not being able to drive as much, he wasn't sure what car to get, and pretty much myself, my father, and other family members urged him. We're like, look, it's gonna be your last car. Go buy Mercedes. So this car holds a bit of a special place in my heart, as my grandfather bought it for me because it was his dream car, and he didn't have an S class, he had a C class, but still he was able to attain his life goal of owning and driving a Mercedes. And so the fact that he got me one, hopefully one day I can buy Mercedes as well, and hopefully my grandfather's still alive long enough for me to buy a big S-Class and take him for a ride, because I know that was his dream car, and I feel like if I can pay it back to him and give him kind of his dream through, I guess, my eyes and my perspective, that'll obviously be something that would be very touching to me and something I could hold on to long after when my grandfather's passed, knowing that I was able to do something to make him happy and fulfill his dreams. Next up, we have the C5 Corvette. This is a 1997 Corvette C5. It has the roof, no roof. Again, I'll go through it quickly. It's made by, this is actually made by Bugatti models in Italy, who are also known for making really detailed, and I'll show you my favorite Bugatti next. It's a big one. But again, the door's open, you can turn the steering wheel, the wheels move. The attention to detail is awesome. You open up the hood, you see the LS3 motor in there, and the trunk opens up as well. Not very easy, I might add, but the trunk does open up. Next up, probably the smallest model I have, but this is the Lamborghini Kenton REO. For anybody who knows this car, this is the coupe version. They made only 20 of these in the world. There's only 40 Kenton REOs in the world. They made 40 coupes and 40 roadsters, which has no roof on it. There is a guy who lives in my area in Toronto. I gotta try to hook up with him for the channel. He bought one of the Kenton REO roadsters. I've seen pictures of it. It's absolutely gorgeous, and I hope one day I get to maybe meet up or see that car somewhere, because I would love to get my eyes on one of these. But for now, I have to just settle for this little model, which I got as part of pre-ordering Forza Horizon 3. So there you go, there's Kenton REO. I'm going to talk about my favorite Bugatti model here, which is the Ferrari F40. Now this is arguably one of, if not the greatest supercar of all time. When it came out, it was super revolutionary. There's literally nothing like it before. Anybody who knows cars knows the F40. I'm not going to get into the whole backstory, but it was basically a road legal race car that Ferrari made. And the attention to detail on this car is just amazing. Everything opens up. The doors open up. There's little black straps on the front here to open up the hood. You kind of pop those up gently, and the entire hood lifts up, which is accurate because on the real car, all you have holding your hood down are these two straps. In a way to save weight, instead of traditional bolts, Ferrari just literally put these straps on that you hope don't break, and you bolt your car on that way. And it's the same on the back with the engine. There's two little tabs right on the back here. 1, 2. You gently pull those up, pull up the whole thing, and you can see all the incredible detail in the engine bay. I know for a fact that Bugatti is sort of the official model car maker of Ferrari, so they work directly with the company to make the models, which is why I believe that they can have such great details in their model cars, because they're in the factory hands-on, actually looking at the real car and then applying it to their models. Not to say that other companies don't do that, I'm sure they do, but I know that Bugatti, being the official sort of model car maker and sponsor of Ferrari, I know they have kind of exclusive access where some other manufacturers might not quite have that during the whole build process as well. And sticking with the Ferrari theme, we'll go with one of my more recent purchases is this Ferrari 48 GTB. Now this is a bit of a special edition because it has the black roof and it has the black wheels. And the cool thing with this one is, again, this is a Bugatti model, so once again, the official Ferrari retailer. The details of compared to this and the actual road car are insane. If you've ever seen a 488 in person, you look at this, it is truly a 1/18 scale model. And the cool thing is they give you this little plastic hook, almost, so you don't have to worry about sticking your fingers in and damaging paint or anything. You can simply use the hook to open up things like the hood and the doors. And you have to be gentle because there's little plastic pieces, but you go ahead and use that, pop the doors open, you don't have to worry about breaking a fingernail or jamming your fingernail or breaking something. this little hook allows you to gently open up everything. And it works really well because you can use it for this car, and I can use it on all my other model cars to save scratching paint and all that and opening it up. Now moving on from the 488. Bit of a funny story with this one. So this is my Audi R8 GT edition. You can tell the GT, it has the wing. It's an older model. I thought it was going to be, when I bought it, I thought it was going to be like a new V10 Plus. It's an older one. Doesn't matter. I've been looking for an R8 for a while. It's one of my favorite cars. It has good details. It has the canards on the front, and it has the big carbon fiber wing, as well as the carbon fiber side blades. That's how you know it's a GT car. It's kind of a more hardcore track version. It has racing seats on the inside. But I kid you not, I bought this car from a guy. Went downtown, met him, all that. Got it home, and about 10 minutes after I got it home, I picked it up the wrong way, and I broke off the side mirror. Not a big deal. I'm going to super glue it back on, hopefully. If I can't, well, then I'll just make sure that I always display it with the mirror side out, and hopefully no one sees the broken mirror. But in any event, again, with this car, you can open up everything. The doors open. The back opens. The front trunk opens. And this is a Kyosho model, if anybody wants to know. They also make really great things. And the next Kyosho model I have is a car, the Lamborghini Huracan. Now, when it first came out, the Gardo, I was about 10, 12 years old when the first Gardos came out. Absolutely loved that car. It was Lamborghini's best-selling car until they replaced it with the Huracan, the new baby Lambo, if you will. But I think at 600 plus horsepower as for a base model car, it's not exactly a baby. It's no big V12, but I know it's nicknamed the baby Lambo, and to date, this is Lamborghini's best-selling car. It's one of my personal favorite cars that are made right now, and just like everything else, you know, if I'm able to afford one of these one day, that would be a dream come true. I'm not a huge fan of the red color, but when I was looking for this car about a month or two ago, it was the only color I could find, and I really wanted the Huracan, and when I found it, they only had a couple left. I got this from Toronto Motorsports, where we were just a little while ago. It was the only color that they had in this model. They had this or like a Huracan Super Trofeo racing car. I didn't really want that. I wanted more of the road car, but I might get another one later if I can find a different color. But like I said, I'm not a huge fan of the red, but there it is. There's your Huracan, also made by Kyosho Models. Very good. Nothing on this one opens up. You can't turn the wheel side to side, but the wheels do roll. So if you want to play with it and roll it forward and back, you can do that. And last but not least, probably my craziest model I have right now is this GTR Nismo edition. Now this is made by GT Spirit Models. Now this one is completely rigid. Nothing opens. The wheels don't turn, and even you know it's a hardcore version of a car when they even have just plastic windows on the model, cheap plastic models instead of like glass or hard plastic glass. Anyways, this is GTR Nismo. I love this thing. Now in terms of cars I want to buy in the future, as I mentioned, if you go on the Toronto Motorsports website, I'll put a link to it in the description below. They have a lot of stuff incoming, and you can pre-order cars. So I think I'm going to go on soon, maybe today, tomorrow, and I'm going to go pre-order. They have coming in a bunch of new McLaren models. They have a Mantis Green, I believe it is, Mantis Green McLaren 675 LT. Absolutely love that car. If you check out my video from Vancouver Supercar Shopping, I'll put a card or a link at the end of this video, so go check it out. I saw that car on the showroom floor. I wasn't able to sit in it, but I fell in love with that thing. When the LT first came out, I thought it was just insane. It's basically, well, it is basically a track car built for the road. Absolutely insane. So I definitely want to get myself a model of those. It's one of my favorite cars ever. So that'll come in the near future, and maybe I'll do some kind of like a model car garage update in the future. But like always, if you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, check out some of my other videos, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.